the second time that this has happened to me where I start recording and the audio cuts out. So, gotta be careful. Did it again. There we go. Just as I was talking about these little mics cutting out, it cuts out on me again. And I think actually it's because the battery died. And on the mic parts, there's no like battery meter, so it's kind of hard to tell how much battery's left unless you're looking at the little display, which is like too tiny for me to see. So I don't know. I guess that's how I found out that the batteries die. All right, let's do it. Set a timer. Everybody knows the deal. 5 minutes. That's what I'm doing. That's new today. I'm changing the time from 10 minutes to 5 minutes. Why? Because um, I'm just constantly trying to think about how to make this process easier for myself and for anybody else, who just ends up listening in the future to this kind of video, um, I tend to try to think about it in terms of like how much time do I have or want to spend listening to anybody else I know speak? If one of my homies decided to do this exact same thing, post a video every day on YouTube, like how long would I actually want to listen to them? And the truth is, maybe 5 minutes. Like maybe I could make 5 minutes of time available to listen to one of my friends speak on a YouTube, like honestly. Um, and so because of that, I know that, nobody else really is going to invest any time into listening to me speak about anything on YouTube. Definitely not my friends. I mean, I look at I get like one view per post, which I'm pretty sure is my dad. Um, so thanks, Dad, for listening. Okay, 5 minutes. Wow, that cuts it down pretty short to, you know, saying something. But I think that's good too because um, I do believe in constraints. I think one of the things that I've learned as, a creative and working in design is that, constraints are a real blessing. It really helps the creative process to give yourself some constraints, and the sometimes the tighter the constraints, the more difficult, the more challenging. I want to say the easier the project is, but I don't know, the more your brain starts to work and think and, kind of focus on putting something out that's clear and concise or, whatever. I think it helps quite a lot. I'm pretty sure a lot of creatives that work in the creative field, whatever different, one that is, um, can relate to that for sure. I think that in the beginning of my career, when I first started out as a designer, um, a lot of constraints felt um, like it made it hard to be creative. And then you're like, if I didn't have all these constraints, I'd do this, I'd do that, and I'd be free to just like do whatever I want. Um, but now it's amazing how, so many years later, the tables have really flipped on that. And I still have that same feeling sometimes when, like I get a project brief for something and it's like, oh, it's got to be like this and that. And you're like, ah, shit, like, because I really wish I could do this other thing. But at the same time, if I get a project brief or I'm working on something, even if it's for myself, and it's just kind of like anything can go, then it's really hard to focus. It's really hard to know what to do. Actually, for me, maybe not for everybody, but definitely for me. So uh, the 5 minutes is mostly just about constraints. What can I get out in 5 minutes every single day? It also cuts the time down, so it's quicker. I'm already running out. I only have 1 minute. There was one thing I wanted to say, and I've been reading this new book by Rick Rubin called The Creative Act, And it's so good because it's all about, just the process of creative exploration and creative expression and what it means to be creative and what it means to be an artist. And, not a lot of like how to or, backstory about things or, this is how I did this and became successful. Not a lot of that. More just a lot of philosophical dialogue in a way about just the nature of creativity and, you know, the embodiment, what it means to embody the the creativity within you, the creative person that wants to express themselves. And I'm really enjoying it because, you know, I've I've seen myself as a creative person since I've been a kid. There's my 5 minutes. I got my first camera when I was like 10 years old. A nice, SLR, very similar to very similar to this one. If you can see that there. This camera was actually my grandpa's camera that he gave to my dad, and then my dad gave to me, and I'm still using it. I took pictures just yesterday with this, finishing up a roll of film. Anyways, my point is, I, I feel like I've been, on the path of creative expression since I'm little, and I mean, little, memory wise, about 10, since 10 years old when my memory really started to kind of come to the surface. Anyway, so it's really refreshing to hear these perspectives, and I was gonna read some quotes, but my 5 minutes is up, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Happy Friday.